Do you actually need diamond abrasives for knife sharpening? Yes and maybe no. On one hand, I think that not having diamond could definitely hold you back in terms of ultimate sharpness and edge retention on certain steels. On the other hand, you definitely don't need diamond in order to achieve maximum sharpness on other steels. But what is it about diamonds that do make them so much more effective for sharpening certain steels? And when exactly do you need them? So this video was inspired by a channel called Erica's EDC, a great channel which I will link below, definitely go subscribe. But she did a quick video talking about carbides and how they affect the sharpening process. So Erica did a fantastic job of explaining this like we're all 5.
We're gonna just talk about this as easy as possible.
Which is the age I am in real life.
Hello!
So I really enjoyed the video, but it made me wonder if we could actually see the difference in my up-close images in real life. It turns out we can. And it's really interesting. So to explain this simply, carbide types in knife steels. Cement type. The most basic carbide type in steel is an not gonna work here anymore anyway. Compound formed between iron. Okay, I'm not going over all this in this simple video, but if you want to read the article, I'll link it below. Or you can just go buy the book Knife Engineering from Dr. Larry Thomas, which again, I'll also link below. Since we're all 5 here, carbides are basically tiny little particles within the steel matrix that are harder than the surrounding steel matrix. You can think of these particles like screws in a piece of wood. This is something kind of like 5-year-old me would have done when I was 5. Anyway, now these particles are super hard and in many cases harder than your traditional ceramic or aluminum oxide sharpening stones. Now again, as a disclaimer, this entire topic is super complicated and we're just skimming here. So I don't want to hear it in the comments.
I suppose you've been expecting me.
Now you can imagine we're trying to just sand this piece of wood with regular sandpaper. We're gonna have problems. The sandpaper is gonna sand all of the surrounding wood, but leave the screws sticking proud of the wood. We can't really sand it smooth, and it doesn't leave a very fine surface finish. Another, maybe better way to visualize this is with lead shot filled Play-Doh. This is something else that I probably would have done when I was 5, but that's a story for another day. Same thing with Play-Doh. The sandpaper just sands the surface, leaving the shot standing proud of the surrounding Play-Doh matrix. Now this is exactly what's happening with high alloy steels like K390, S110V, or CPM M4. Regular sharpening stones just won't cut those carbides very effectively, leaving them standing proud of the surrounding steel matrix. And you can see that here. Hopefully I'm pointing to the right spot. Give me a break, we're low budget here. All of these little dots, which hopefully I'm pointing to, are carbides that are sticking proud of the surrounding steel matrix, which have been worn away by softer ceramic sharpening stones. Now if we have an apex that looks like this, you can see how that would be a problem in terms of getting super refined sharp edges. Now from the research that I did, there is some debate as to whether or not these carbides could actually tear out of the surrounding steel matrix due to the lack of support from that surrounding steel matrix. And this could actually cause a significant drop in edge retention. Now some have said that this is a thing and others said that it's not a thing. Honestly, I'm still on the fence as to what exactly is going on here. I'll have to get back to you. Anyway, to combat this carbide abrasion issue, we used the hardest substance known to mankind. Diamond. Now diamond is hard enough to actually cut or abrade these carbides down level with the surrounding steel matrix. So here's a CPM M4 edge that had been sharpened on a 5000 grit Koromaku stone and then stropped on a green compound chromium oxide strop. And you can see how all of these carbides are poking through. Now all I did to fix this was use a 6 and 1 micron diamond strop. Bam! All of those carbides are now abraded level. Abraded? Is that even a word? Abraded level with the surface of the surrounding steel matrix. And the apex is definitely more refined and it accomplishes that a whole lot faster. So what steels benefit from diamond? Well, this is where it gets a little tricky because the explanation could be an entire video in and of itself. But in super simplest terms, high carbide forming steels at high hardness levels will benefit from diamond. Again, this is super simple terms, but any of the known so-called super steels are going to benefit from diamond. Now, I'm not going to sit here and list every single steel that could benefit from diamond. CPM M4, Rex 121. You're just gonna have to Google some of this stuff. I wish that there was a simpler answer. But it's kind of like asking, how do you drive from the East Coast to the West Coast? And the answer is just get in a car and drive west. The actual answer is a little bit more complicated and you're probably just gonna have to use a map. It's not something I can sit here and just tell you. Now you can use basic non-diamond stones to sharpen these high hardness, high carbide steels. It can be done, but it's not fun. Sharpening these high-end steels on non-diamond stones feels hard because it is. Those carbides are doing what they're supposed to do in making these steel very abrasion resistant. And that's going to be a problem on a stone that is just not hard enough to abrade those carbides away. Now diamond stones on the other hand, they make this sharpening process on these high-end steels so much easier because they can actually cut the steel. The diamond doesn't care because it's harder than whatever it is you're trying to sharpen. Now the downside of just using diamond stones is the cost. They're kind of expensive, especially when you get to the finer grits. Now there is one mention here, and that is if you're going to use non-diamond stones on high alloy, high hardness, high carbide forming steels, you're better off sticking with the coarser grits. The finer grits is really where you start to have problems. You won't really have too many problems using coarser grits. Let's just use some grit number and say 1000 grit, or somewhere in that range and below. My suspicion is that even though the carbides in the steel are harder than the stones in some cases, I think that the coarser grits allow a larger bite, so to speak, and they abrade away both the carbides and the surrounding matrix at an even rate. Like this Play-Doh filled with lead shot, for instance. A finer grit sandpaper would have a hard time sanding this due to the lead shot, but a much coarser grit is coarse enough to pull out the shot and the surrounding matrix all at the same time. Now this is mostly a theory based on my close-up images, but I think it's correct. And you can actually feel this as you're using the sharpening stone as well. Now for contrast, this is what a low alloy, or we'll say non-carbide forming steel looks like when sharpened on the same 5000 grit non-diamond stone and chromium oxide strop. We have a much more refined apex, and it's much easier to get those super refined finishes when carbides aren't involved. Now I will link some of my favorite diamond stones below, as well as some budget or more budget cheaper options for the finer grit resin bonded stones. Definitely check those out. Now I hope that this video helps explain why you'll often hear just use diamond so often from so many people. And thanks again to Erica from Erica's EDC for the video inspiration. Anyway, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.